I remember when I was in mosque and I was saying my shahada, right? Now, I was already Muslim for a while at this point, and I'd already said my shahada with multiple witnesses. Yet, they wanted me to go into the mosque with the imam to say my shahada around multiple people with the imam there as well, just to make it official and just to do it in a bit more of a ceremonious way. So I went in and I said my shahada. And the Imam said to me, we want to give you an Islamic name, kind of symbolic of you having this new birth almost, you know, your sins are wiped away because you're now Muslim, you said the Shahada. Let's give you an Islamic name. And he said, look, the thinking behind names is that if we give you a name of somebody of significance in the past, then you can have the same qualities as that person in kind of like an esoteric way. And he said, I think we should call you Muhammad because Muhammad was the best person in history and the best example for humanity. And I said, no, let's go with something else. And we settled on something else. But that's something that really stuck with me. And it actually put me in a moral trap, right? And this moral trap, which I'm going to tell you about, it shows the cognitive dissonance of Muslims when you give them this question, right? Now, if you are a Muslim and you're watching this, then it is going to be difficult, but I encourage you to keep on watching it because I think you will be better for it afterwards. So, what is this question? It's a very simple question. The question starts out, you say to the Muslim, do you believe Muhammad was the best example for all of humanity, future, past, and present? Now, Muslims believe, yes, he is the best example for humanity, so they'll say yes. If they say no, then we can probably agree with them and end the conversation there or go and be friends and grab a coffee. So they're going to say, yes, I believe Muhammad was the best example for humanity and still is. So you can then say, so do you condemn him marrying Aisha? She was 6 years old when they got married and 9 years old when he consummated the marriage. Now, this is the trap, essentially. It's an ethical and moral dilemma for Muslims because it goes against their core beliefs as a Muslim that Muhammad is the best example for humanity. Yet they know in their heart and in their brain this is not a moral thing to do. A lot of the time nowadays, I explain it that my issue is not with Muslims. My family, a lot of my best friends are Muslim. My issue is with Islam. Many Muslims, most of the Muslims I know are great people, but Islam itself is not. And this is where the cognitive dissonance comes in. You'll say to the Muslim, do you condemn Muhammad for marrying Aisha? Because of course, there is a specific word that we use for adults, especially 51-year-olds, who marry and do things to little children. So if they say, yes, I condemn Muhammad, then he clearly isn't the best example for humanity, and you can agree with them. If they say, no, I do not condemn Muhammad, then that speaks more about them than I can. You know, they are validating and justifying Muhammad's choice as a 51-year-old man to marry a child, a young child who's 6 years old. Now, many Muslims will start to question this, they'll start to try and avoid this, and this shows the cognitive dissonance because they say they're Muslim, they say they follow Islam, yet the Islamic sources and Sahih graded, the strongest possible grading of hadith, show that Aisha was 6 years old, right? It's shown in hadith where Aisha is narrating it herself, saying she was 6 years old, and there's even Sahih graded hadith where they're talking about Aisha playing with dolls. And of course, dolls were outlawed. They were illegal for adults to play with because they looked like idols, which is of course shirk. It was only legal for children to play with dolls. So you've got multiple Sahih graded hadith confirming that Aisha was a child, narrated by herself as well. So they will deny their religion, their identity, and very largely their culture based on their own ethical compass yet they'll still claim to be Muslim and still claim to believe in it. It's a complete contradiction, yet they can't deny Islam because of the cognitive dissonance there. And you also have to remember this is an incredibly difficult question for a Muslim to answer. Because for many Muslims, if they start denying parts of Islam and realizing that there are many incredibly unethical things in the Islamic doctrine, then they potentially lose their entire family, their friends, their entire life. And this is, like I was saying before, my issue is not with Muslims, my issue is with Islam. 95% of Muslims that I know and meet are lovely people that do not justify this and do not believe in this. Yet the cognitive dissonance kind of makes them say that, yes, Muhammad was the best example, even if he may have done this, that, and the other. It's a very strange thing. Yeah, it is a bizarre one. But this is essentially the moral trap that I got trapped in. And my answer was to deny the hadith. Even though the hadith are very strong, there's very strong isnad there, very strong narration chains. And on top of that, if you even look in the Quran, there is a verse specifically talking about marrying people who have not menstruated yet. Many people will claim that this is about women who have a medical condition, but if you look at the tafsir, then it shows that it's actually about children and prepubescent girls. This is what the tafsir say, right? Not me. So if you follow the Quran alone, or if you follow hadith, it's still the same issue. It's in both. And it's still a moral trap and an issue. So take that as you will. This is something that trapped me, and I find it to be a very interesting but a very sensitive topic of discussion with Muslims. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it is useful to you. And I hope if you are a Muslim watching, then it's got you questioning things. Because I truly do believe that God has placed right and wrong in our hearts. And we have that moral compass. We know what's right and what's wrong at some level, most of us anyway, as a generalized rule. That's it really. But thank you very much for watching. God bless and have a lovely rest of your day.